There I go, unmuted. Hello, hello, hello! Oh damn, why is my face so huge? Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. Let me fix that, cause why my face so big? Good evening, hello! Let me fix that. I was adjusting some settings a little bit. That's better. That's better. Okay, there's my normal sized face. Formatted for Twitch. Hello everyone, how are you? How is everyone? Welcome to another Chill Creation stream. Let me turn the music down a little bit. So, before, you guys like this music? First and foremost, before we dive straight in, how's that? Good. That's better. And let me now fix the captions. Welcome to another Chill Creation stream. Good evening, everyone. I have been excited for this stream for days. Not just all of today, but since last week when we had our live session 0 for our new Bard RPG mini-series. Yes, Riley in the house. We got Riley, we got Grey 4, we got Hatchling. Isn't the music amazing? Okay, I have been obsessed with the music. And I did get permission from the artist to actually play their music on stream. And I'm so very excited. So, in order to properly give the credit where it's due, check out Lazy Laser. Lazy Laser, based out of Canada, Western retro synth kind of style. As soon as I heard this music, when I went down a little bit of an inspiration rabbit hole a few weeks ago, I've loved it. It hooked me. It has such a unique and interesting sound. I love synthwave. I love retrowave, but this Western retro synth is just, it's music. It's been so, well, obviously it's music. It's music to my ears. I'm still sick, by the way. No, it's been very, very engaging, and I am very excited that Lazy Laser is okay with us using it for the stream and for parts of our new mini-series. So in order to give them the shout out they deserve, go check out their Bandcamp. I just purchased their digital album, and you can get the high quality download, MP3, FLAC, and more. So I want to make sure that if we are going to be using their music in any capacity on this stream, on this channel, that we credit them appropriately. So thank you once again, Lazy Laser. Go follow them on Twitter. All right, so tonight we are going to take a step away from the usual fantasy genre that you're familiar with through Heroes of Ystera and some of the D&D content that you may be used to seeing on this channel. In case you missed it, we are putting our Heroes of Ystera campaign on a bit of a hold because one of our players is in the process of moving from Canada back to the UK. We are very, very excited to have them a little bit closer. But in order to give them enough time to do that properly without having to stress, we're going to take a hiatus and have a mini-series of a new Western Sci-Fi adventure. So we're testing the capabilities, testing the limits of the new Bard RPG system, and telling a different kind of story. I have been super, super excited about this. I love sci-fi. And the Western genre in general is very underrepresented. One of our other members of the community here, Chris Hopper, mentioned that during our session 0 last Thursday, and I couldn't agree more. So we are going to explore the world of, you ready for it? You ready for it? The new title for this mini-series, Outpost 5. That hit me while I was doing some notes earlier today. So we are going to explore the world of Outpost 5, do a little bit of world building. This is a mini-series, so we're not necessarily thinking long-running campaign. However, if it goes well, if people like it, we might use that as an alternating game. We'll see. We'll have to see. I've been super excited about it. Had Hatchling DM and Argensky's art on stream last Thursday to do their session 0 character creation, talk about the genre, talk about the types of themes they want represented in this mini series. So we're going with a not spaghetti western, not quite so goofy, but a bit of a dark western sci-fi heist kind of adventure. So we went through that whole process, did our character building, crafted their archetypes within the Bard RPG system. If you missed that, I don't know if the VOD is still up, but you can check it out on the YouTubes. Check it out there, YouTube/ScrivTheBard. So go check that out on your own time. Let us know what you think. Hope you get as hyped about this as we are. Okay, so it's been a while since we did a world building stream. Less spaghetti, more lasagna. I love that. And you know, thinking about it now, I totally should have made spaghetti for dinner tonight. Why didn't I make spaghetti? That's a missed opportunity. I made some Korean barbecue meatballs. I'm an adult and I cook for myself sometimes. Lasagna. Lasagna Western. But where was I? Yes, it's been a while since we did a world building type of stream, and I'm very excited for this new challenge because it means that we can step away from Iastera. And y'all know I love Iastera. We've been exploring that world. I've been writing in that world and developing it for years at this point. So with that, I'm very excited to create something new. So this is going to have no relation whatsoever to the Iastera campaign setting. So with that, let's check out some notes. You ready for this? The best part of starting a new campaign. The best part of creating a new world. You get a blank page. I did not have the time to transfer the notes I had already started to write down from my notebook onto the page. So we're gonna do this from scratch together. So with this, there are a few different approaches to world building. I tend to have an idea for the world, for a setting first, and then have an adventure kind of grow from that world. The dreaded blank page. So much potential, so much possibility. It can be intimidating, right? And here's the thing. I typically do not like writing anew on a computer screen. I am much more the old school pen and paper type. So most of the notes for this, for Bard RPG, for Outpost 5, all of that is in this journal, or one of many others I have on my shelves behind me. Ooh, do I need a new journal for this? Is this an excuse to buy a new notebook? I think it might be. Because I have a feeling this will start off as a mini campaign, a mini series, but we will hopefully return to this, right? Any excuse. I do not have a problem. I don't. It's not a problem if I love it, right? It does help the creative process. And for me, there's something about the very tactile feeling and sound of the pen scratching against paper that for some reason just helps those ideas flow. Get a sci-fi themed one? Ooh, I think I need one. You guys are such enablers. I love it. So the slippery slope of ideas, right? So at Grey 4, that's something that I've tried to do over time, is to go through all of the journals that I already have instead of buying new ones each time I have an idea. And I will not allow myself to buy a new one until I actually run out of space. And it's at the point now where I'm actually running out, because I have a few different things in this one already, and it's not really appropriate. Because I'm about halfway through this one, but this is my Bard RPG notebook. This is like bigger picture project notes. There is the outline for a children's book in here, so there's a lot in here already. I think I actually might need a new notebook or something for Outpost 5. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this that I'm starting to ramble. So, world building. A few different ways. You could start from the micro level, or you could start from the macro level. We are somewhere in between in that we have an idea for a type of story we want to tell, but we don't know the plot yet. Instead of developing the plot and then fitting the world around it, I want to have that general idea, which we've been able to identify during our session 0, with it being Western Sci-Fi heist, a little bit of a gray area, moral ambiguity type of story, type of characters. And then I want to build the world around it to make it, to expand it, give it a place to grow. And then as the world builds, I think those details for the plot will start to surface, and the story really tells itself. When it came to Iastera, I had the idea for an aspect of the world before I wrote an adventure for it. So I very much went from the macro and dialed down. So this is a different sort of way of doing it. So let's start, as we're talking about our world here, doing that sort of middle ground approach. Let's put down some of the themes that we discussed during session 0 to get us started. I wrote them all down in my special journal. Woo woo woo. Okay, so we are going with sci-fi Western or Western sci-fi. Is there a difference? Sci-fi Western sounds like a Western setting with sci-fi elements. I think this is actually a sci-fi setting with Western elements. We're off to a great start. Let's go ahead and make this bold so y'all can see it a little bit better. Western sci-fi. I'm gonna go with our overarching themes. We want a heist. And we want gray area / moral ambiguity. Thank you. I did not misspell that one. Those were a lot of the conversation topics when we were having our session 0. Different inspiration. So I like thinking about where I'm getting inspiration from when I'm creating a story or a game as well. So we were pulling from things like Firefly, little bit of, I think Deep Space Nine came up in conversation as well. What else were we thinking about? I was thinking about Ghost in the Shell a little bit, and some Cowboy Bebop. So a little bit of that rebel, wanderer, outlaw kind of feeling. Very much gray area in both Firefly and Cowboy Bebop. I think we also talked about The Expanse as well, and I got super excited, but it doesn't quite have the same sort of thematic storytelling focus as I think this story will. So we already have some characters. Just as a quick reminder, getting all my thoughts together, we have Kez and Kane. Their archetypes are the... Actually, I am going to write this down because I think that'll help. Characters. So we have Kez, who is, in terms of archetypes, the innocent magician. And we have Kane, rebel explorer. I think it helps in this sense for us to think about the characters and the backstories and the motivations behind them, because that helps me to craft this adventure and the surrounding world appropriately. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to this campaign, and kind of my approach to campaign planning in general, I like to have that session 0 with the party first, talk to them about the types of story that they're interested in, the different types of story elements that they find engaging, as well as talk about different red lines, topics to avoid, themes to stress or not to stress, that sort of thing. Because I love telling a story. Y'all know I do. And that's one of the most exciting things to me about starting a new campaign and creating a new world like this. But if the players aren't engaged, then it's not worth it. I think that sometimes certain GMs out there, and I only ever had one GM that was like this. They had a story in mind that they wanted to tell, and the players were just there to make it happen. Don't get me wrong, they're a great GM, but it very much led to this railroady sort of feel where it was plot-driven, not character-driven. And we didn't have a whole lot of agency in influencing the story or causing things to shift one way or another. We were just along for the ride. And it was a great story, but not quite my preferred approach when it comes to TTRPGs. And when it comes to Bard RPG as a system, very much focused on it being a character-driven story versus a plot-driven story. So you want that engagement from your players. I'm going off on every tangent tonight. Yeah, see, that's a good point, Grey Forest. So depending on the party, it may be necessary to railroad, but I wouldn't want the whole game being an on-rail game. I agree. Absolutely. Some railroading is necessary in certain cases. When I was running workshops for younger kids or intro games for new players, you kind of need some railroading. When you have players as well who have never played together before, so at a convention pickup game, sometimes you need a little bit of railroading. If you have a time limit, if you know that you have 1 or 1.5, 2 hours to run this game, and it's a one-shot that has to just go, Adventurers League kind of stuff, you're gonna need a little bit more railroading. But it doesn't have to be consistent all the time. Yeah, the whole game being on rail is a little bit tiresome. Hot takes. I'm not trying to piss anyone off. Okay, we have some overall themes. We've got some inspiration. We've got some characters. Let's talk about the setting, because this is really what we're here to do tonight. So, had some thoughts. I gave an initial pitch to the crew in Discord. So let me write down what I wrote there, or kind of summarize it and delve into it a little bit more. The setting itself, obviously, it is futuristic. I'm looking at futuristic versus alternate timeline kind of thing. So let's backtrack a little bit. Sci-fi. Sci-fi as a genre, short for science fiction, obviously, you're going to have more of that scientific, exploratory, technological kind of element to it. Think like pew pew lasers. But the thing I like about science fiction is that it asks what if as a genre. It asks, what if there was life on other planets? What if space travel? What if pew pew lasers? It hypothesizes all of these different elements and explores what our world would, how our world would adapt, how it would evolve, how would humanity respond to these what ifs, to these different hypothetical scenarios. And a lot of sci-fi stories out there very much tell the story from a humanity perspective. What was another one we discussed before? Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. I loved it. They kind of lost the plot at the end, but I still really loved it. For a show like Battlestar Galactica, what if? What if, Cylons? What if humanity and the fabric of humanity and what it means to be human is questioned and thrown into our faces? Yes, space! Hello, Hopper! What's up? I quoted you earlier, you missed it. You said Western is underrepresented, which helped us to decide on this theme. Thanks again. So, following that what if scenario, Titan AE, yes, oh my god, I love Titan AE. What happens when humanity loses their home planet? Absolutely. Man, that's a classic. I might need to rewatch Titan AE. That was so good. So good. Okay, I'm gonna watch that again for some inspo. Another really awesome one, Treasure Planet. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so sci-fi, we're asking what if. Very often it's told from humanity's perspective. I'm not sure if this one is going to be told from humanity's perspective specifically. I think it would be an interesting challenge to break away from that and to write from a more objective perspective, because I mean, I'm human, you're human, all the players are human as far as we know. The players are. The characters may or may not be. You'll have to wait and find out. I'm not revealing any spoilers for the characters here. So it might be a little bit difficult to not have humanity's perspective, but well, we'll see. We'll see how we go. When it comes to the setting itself, I think that you can create a setting that is going to be a little bit more objective, a little bit more agnostic. And then when it comes to a TTRPG, have the characters and the life that grows within that setting provide those different perspectives and look at those different narratives, which I think would be interesting. I guess in terms of the setting itself, not the story, the setting, we can keep it pretty agnostic. Hello, Pixit Flies, first time viewer, or nobody is human. Exactly, we actually don't know. I don't know. I currently, at this stage, I kid you not, I do not know if any of the players are going to be human. So, okay, back to the setting. We're looking at sci-fi. What kind of what-if questions will there be? Humanity perspective? Futuristic versus alternate timeline? Very much post-space travel, post-advancement of space travel? Scriv, it's kind of your call on this. I don't mind being an alien at all. So maybe decide once we do some world building tonight. Maybe this will help you decide. I'm not going to choose. I'm not going to make that choose for you. That choice. Let me pour myself some tea. Choking on my words there. Tonight's tea is a very lovely rosebud tea that I got on a trip to England, last year, I suppose, technically, but months ago. Okay. The setting itself, instead of being based on Earth or an Earth equivalent, is actually going to be, hello, Idiot Scopics, how are you? Thank you for the follow. Cheers to you, my friend. Yes. It's my Dalek. What? Another new follower? What? Thank you, 451120A. That sounds futuristic. Oh my god. Right? I've got my... Oh, the green screen is messing with it. I've got my, beholder hat, but, aliens, eyeballs. I'm wearing a TARDIS, t-shirt. Got my Dalek mug. Caffeinate. Okay. Gosh. Good. Glad to hear you're doing all right. I love Doctor Who. I did fall out of touch with it, or I fell out of the loop, but I am planning, now that this like dissertation is off my plate to do a heckin' binge watch of Doctor Who and catch up at some point. TBD. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Setting. Futuristic. This is going to be set in space versus on Earth. So we're looking at post-space travel and exploration. Thinking about the futuristic timeline, the futuristic element to this. Supporting all the streams. We love to see it. Good to see you. Oh, is that 451120A? Is that a tea drinking emote? Oh, that's adorable. I love it. We've got a tea emote, a tea-mote. Drop some scriv tea in there, chat. Okay. So, basic ideas there for the setting. Let me share the actual concept with you now. So, this is the setting for Outpost 5. The existence of Outpost 5 suggests the existence of other outposts. You would be correct. So, story is centered on Outpost 5. Oh, ha! It corrected me because I'm in UK spelling for English. Okay. There are, in this sector, a total of 7 outposts. Each outpost is, actually, let's do this. I'm just gonna straight up read to you what I said, and then we'll put it on the page. So, this is what I sent to the Discord channel. Very Wild West, New Frontier feeling. There are 7 original outposts in this sector. Each one was established to secure different zones and to help facilitate new trade routes. Well, perhaps not trade routes at the beginning. So this sector has not been developed for any sort of colonization or settling until very, very recently. So let's backtrack. Let's start from the beginning again. In fact, let's just go ahead and start a new page here. A new galaxy has formed from the death of a star. So when a star dies, it can create a supernova. It collapses in upon itself. Sometimes when that happens, a lot of the matter, a lot of that physical mass, not just within the star, but anything that had been pulled closer towards it due to the gravitational force, will be expelled. As a result of this star death, you'll have collision. You'll have dust and debris kind of floating and spiraling through space along with the force of the collapsing star of the nova itself. And over time, that debris will continue to crash into each other and settle eventually around other stars or around the, the white dwarf that could have been a remainder or part of the aftermath of the now dead star. So that is where this galaxy came from. New galaxy has formed from the death of a star. It is a lenticular galaxy. Specifically, all my space nerds, go look that up. Well, I'll pull up a picture here after I get all my thoughts on paper. Not currently. This galaxy is largely unexplored, but the settling / creation of the new galaxy has not attracted the attention, has been monitored by insert name here for whatever the Galactic Federation will be in this game. By Federation. Once the dust and debris settles and the new sector is deemed safe enough for expeditions, the Federation funds the establishment of 7 outposts for the purpose of exploration, settling / colonization, at least temporarily. And that's primarily it. Conducting tests, that sort of thing. Surveys. Is the dead star sentient? I don't know. It could be. We'll have to see. Initially, I wasn't thinking about it being sentient, but that's a very interesting thought. We're gonna put that on the back burner. I'm not gonna say it will be, but I love the idea of sentience in unexpected vessels, unexpected things. That's terrifying. I love it. Yeah, that kind of is crazy. I like the idea of a planet or of a star being alive. I really, really do. That's a bit of a Doctor Who feeling as well, isn't it? Okay. This story is centered upon Outpost 5. There are 7 known outposts. So a question from the chat, are there 7 known outposts or 7 outposts and only a few of them are still inhabited? There are in other areas and other sectors, like the current galaxy where the Federation is actually based. There were other outposts, but outposts are typically the precursor to colonization, to settlements, to trade routes, to that sort of thing. These outposts are the precursor to eventual colonization. Colonization. So for this story, that's more the history of this galaxy, this yet to be named galaxy. We need to figure out what the naming conventions will be for different galaxies, for different quadrants within the galaxies, and so on and so forth. We will also get to decide what is in this galaxy. So, I haven't fully fleshed it out yet, but this story is centered on Outpost 5, which is associated in an asteroid belt, remnant from the original collisions and debris that formed in the early stages of this galaxy. So that's the history, right? When it comes to this being a Western sci-fi heist, we kind of already need some sort of establishment. We need some sort of settlement, some sort of civilization that has already been founded here. So this is a very brief recap of how did this galaxy come to be, what is the history, what is the context of these different outposts. So current timeline, all 7 outposts have been established. This is what we currently know. We can call these assumptions. They've all been established. The sector has been deemed safe enough for early settlement, at least initial settlement. Certain outposts have discovered valuable natural resources. When it comes to world building, I really like to know how a world, how a setting came to be. So I start a little bit with that history, and then I develop it further. Instead of working backwards, where I develop like a city first, and then figure it out how it came to be. We have a basic idea. We know it's a heist. We know there's technology. So that sort of requires the assumption of a certain type of progression in the timeline for this area, I think. So certain outposts have discovered valuable natural resources, and therefore quickly drew the attention of other, let's say, of investors and financiers? Is that the appropriate term? Outpost 5 was one of the first to entrepreneurs. That's a good one. Investors, financiers, and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs. Hapless carpetbaggers. Carpetbaggers. That's such a southern thing. Dang carpetbaggers. Coming out to our outpost. So Outpost 5 very quickly became one of the most affluent, one of the most productive, valued outposts. Cackles. Due to the resource rich in the belt, actually. So mining in the asteroid belt is something that led to the very rapid development of Outpost 5. What started off as an outpost where they would do surveys and run like, wow, hiccups, run like salvage kind of stuff in the asteroid belt, yielded very valuable minerals, which could then of course be refined for different things. What that mineral is, we will have to determine. So, let's organize this a little bit differently. We're dialing down. Let's now talk about the outposts themselves. Initially established by teams of, let's say, scientists, mechanics, and explorers, rangers, space rangers. Though other, let's say, settlers and business ventures moved in once, let's say, once it was determined viable. Capitalism will still exist in space, unfortunately. Hate to say it, but it will. Ooh, I'm getting all splotchy again. Oh, so yeah, those of you who maybe missed some of the updates, I am still ill, but feeling better. My body went through some sort of very extreme, almost like an allergic response to something. I don't know what yet. So my histamine levels are still very high. I'm still recovering. So basically anything that like touches my skin or rubs against it starts to get all red. It's a lot better, if you can believe it. It's a lot better right now than it was just a few days ago, or even, just last week or even a few days ago. But I was joking with my friends that I felt like, pre-zombie outbreak. It's not COVID. They tested me for that. I tested myself twice. One with an antigen and one with a full-up PCR a few days later. Not COVID. 3 doctors and they couldn't tell me what it was. I have a hypothesis though. Quick little mental health break. Did you guys know that stress rashes are a thing? Riley, something you mentioned made me think about it even further. And I looked up MCAS and I looked up some other things. But did you know, and I've got a psychology background, right? So I know the physiological effects of stress and what it can have on you or what it can do to you. But did you know that there are cases where someone can be so very stressed that their histamine levels spike in response? Because stress does increase your histamines. Histamines are those things that are produced by your cells in response to some sort of trigger. It could be, usually it's allergies, right? You get all itchy and your eyes water and your breathing goes all funny and and you've got not enough room in the chat for this, but oh yeah, I'm not dying, I'm fine. They can't get rid of me that easily. But that's why we take antihistamines like Benadryl, right? So apparently you can be so stressed that the stress reaction physiologically spikes your histamines to the point where you will break out as if you've had an allergy. Crazy, right? It's lasted for over a week at this point. I must have been real stressed. I was real stressed. I was very stressed. So all of that to say, stress can make you physically ill. If you feel yourself feeling overwhelmed or stressed out by something or anything, it doesn't matter. It could be many somethings. Mine was a bunch of things that just kept piling up, not the least of which was finishing the paper for my degree. And, other stuff that just happens because the universe has a sense of humor and it wants to see how much we can juggle at once. No matter how busy you feel, please, please, please take time to take care of yourselves. I don't want any of y'all to go through what I did last week because I'm not convinced it was an allergy. And I was out for the count for about a week, which is why I didn't really do a lot of streaming, or when I did, I was heavily medicated. Take baths, go for walks, drink some tea, watch something silly and dumb that doesn't take a lot of mental energy. Take care of yourselves. We've been in a pandemic now for how frickin' long? But the world doesn't stop. Bills still have to be paid. Our jobs are still going. Employment rates suck. We're not going to turn this stream into one of those. But I did actually want to talk about this on stream tonight after, getting some other opinions and thinking through this hypothesis. And more, I do think that is what happened. So I want this to be a little short-lived PSA. Take care of yourselves because stress can literally kill you. It's incredible what the human mind is capable of, both in the realm of wonderful storytelling, but also when it comes to your physical health, not just mental health. The mind and body link is intrinsic when it comes to our health. You have to have both healthy to continue on in a positive manner. They both impact each other, and the power that your mental health has over your physical health is very often overlooked, understated, and underdiagnosed. Take care of yourself, dang it! Don't do what I did. Stress yourself out so much that your body goes into panic mode. Timing of this conversation is on point for me personally. Stressed so much that I had a heart attack. Oh my god. Are you okay? See, that stuff is scary. I'm very sorry to hear that. And I hope that you're doing better. And I hope that you've had the chance now to assess and adopt good health habits kind of thing. Last in freelancer, right? Half the time we do it to ourselves, but that doesn't mean that we don't have limits. I used to think that, please don't heart attack, right? I used to think that I was good at managing stress, that I used to almost brag, right? Which is horribly toxic towards yourself. I used to brag that, oh yeah, I mean, I can't really operate without some degree of stress. Nah. That just means that you haven't allowed yourself to acknowledge how much stress you might be putting yourself under and how much stress you may be accruing in response to external factors. So my body of Scriv said, what the heck are you doing? What do you, no, hard stop, pull the emergency brake. You're gonna go sleep. My body forced me to take a hard stop and rest for over a week now because I was not being kind to myself. So, health habits. Please take care of yourselves because this has been miserable. Yeah. Gave myself shingles during startup life. Learned better now and took a nice hour-long walk in the woods at lunch to scream at the sky and soak up the sun. I love it. Scream at the sky. Hit the hard stop many times. Body says, please no more. This was the first time I've had something this significant. I mean, I visited 3 doctors. Right? I had appointments with 3 different doctors and they just kept saying, allergies? Because I didn't tell them how stressed I was. Doctors won't always ask either. So rule out allergies, rule out illness and viral things. Make sure you get those checked off of your hypothesis list first. And I might still have some sort of allergy, but I've pretty much ruled out the possibility of this actually being a severe allergic reaction. So rule out those other things, but then also take a look at your mental health. Take a check with yourself and assess, reflect. Take a step back, breathe that fresh air, scream at the sky, that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm not going to belabor that, but I did actually want to talk about that because I know within the past several months to a year to 2 years, we've all been very, very stressed and people have been working themselves to the bone. Yeah, so I felt like it was relevant and I wanted to open up a little bit. Plus, I'm kind of embarrassed at how splotchy my face is and I wanted to offer an explanation. All right, Outposts. Yeehaw. Initially established by teams of scientists, mechanics, explorers, and rangers, though other settlers and business ventures moved in once it was deemed viable and profitable. So remember we were talking about humanity? I had a thought while we were discussing this in the Discord. If this is futuristic, where does humanity come into play? And I want to write this down before I forget it, because I want to stick with this. So you know how humanity often in these sci-fi series and books and games and things that we like to enjoy, that we consume, humanity in some ways takes or tries to assume like a leadership sort of role. right? I've always found that very interesting. Oh, thank you, Riley. Have a good meeting. Hopefully it goes well. Love to the lurkers. So, humanity. I think it's rather arrogant of us to assume that humanity is going to come out on top. I think what's much more likely, humanity was behind the learning curve in regards to space travel and communication with other races / beings. Therefore, once humanity did enter the scene, I had this thought of humanity basically becoming like cheap labor. What do you guys think? Is that gonna turn people away from this? Humans made an initial place for themselves as, well, low-level explorers and cheap labor, for lack of a better word. I say this because who is going to be among the first teams for these outposts? There's probably going to be a bunch of humans there. Because humans, we haven't been around as long in this setting. Behind the learning curve, entered late. Our technology is not as developed in this hypothetical sci-fi world. So, hard work, right? Cheap labor. And we are very prolific. There are a lot of humans. Doubt we'd be the only race to be used as labor, but we'd likely be the most common one, right? So, as a result, there are going to be a lot of humans at these early outposts, mixed in with other alien races, which leads me to another crucial piece of this world building. There are other alien races. Let's say non-terrestrial. Terrestrial races exist and were already communicating, traveling before humanity, capital H, arrival, first contact. I like the term sophins. Sophins? Queuing. It is a good term. Okay. So, let's talk about these aliens. What kind of aliens do y'all want to see? Let's get some concepts down first. And then, probably off stream, I'll come up with some names, right? Greek origin, so probably short O, like Omicron. O is for Omicron. Softens, got it. So, I don't want to do too much of a hack on like other sci-fi media that's already out there. But of course my first thought goes to Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect. Oh my god, that's one of my absolute favorite video game franchises. Ah, I love it. So, let's think about some alien races. Let's make some aliens. Ooh. Oh, Hops has tables. tables for generating aliens, but a fast shorthand version is basically pick one weird physical trait, one weird mental / psychic / power trait, and one weird cultural trait, and then put it in a blender. To be fair, even ancient Greek professors / PhDs can't agree how to pronounce Omicron. I love that you spelled it differently too. I like that. Language is fluid. I used to be a little bit of a, grammar police. But then I got over myself. Canard and Flam. Recommend checking out Buck Godot. Zap Gun for Hire. Ooh, tell me more. And welcome first-time chat viewer. Does that mean duck on fire? Are you a flaming duck? Bonsoir, Monsieur Canard, ou Madame Canard, ou Canard. I did not mean to assume gender. I am sorry. Duck on fire. I love that. Okay. Let's talk about this alien generation idea. So, physical trait. Power trait, right? And then cultural trait. So let's come up with some interesting things. And remember, we're playing what if, right? Let's start with the physical trait. What if there are aliens with many eyes? Race with many eyes. Would they be like a beholder? Would they have eye stalks? Would they be humanoid? Would they be bipedal? Would they be quadrupedal? Let's come up with these different ideas for aliens and then figure out what kind of world they may have come from. So there'll be a race with many eyes. Let's say they are quadrupedal. Is it quadrupedal? Quadrupedal. Many-eyed alien called the Sclerans. I actually really like that. It would be different in their language, though. That's probably something that humanity would call them. Which would be another interesting thing. Language. Although, I'm willing to bet that, or I will say this. You know how good Google Translate has become over time? Where it will, translate live speech, or you can use the camera function, it will translate like a menu. So I was in Germany a couple months ago, did Google Translate at a menu at a restaurant, and it just translated right there, like an augmented reality sort of thing. So we're gonna say that there aren't really language barriers at this stage, in this timeline, in this futuristic setting. Okay, race with many eyes, quadrupedal. I would like there to be an aquatic-based race. Not quite like mer people. I don't think they will be. They're not going to be humanoid. But think like deep sea beings. There could be amphibious ones as well. I'm thinking they might be. We'll work with that one. We'll work with that one. Maybe like eel-like. I don't know. Space squid. Could be. Yeah, something kind of like that. Ooh. What about intentional language barriers like can'ts? That's a cool idea. And yes, they're absolute. I think that would be appropriate. Aelfir names could make cool prompts. We'll take a look at that. Let's get the concepts first, and then we'll worry about naming. Okay, so a race with many eyes, an aquatic-based race. We'll have different categories of alien races as well. You're going to have some that are like primordial deep space kind of things. Deep space beings. Many eyes, aquatic. Just for fun, let's have like the green ones, you know? Like the typical Mars attacks kind of alien, just because I think it would be hilarious. Irritatingly superior and obtuse prime movers, right? Those jerks. Those schmucks. I like the idea of there being a luminescent kind of race as well. And I wrote luminescence as a plural noun, not as an adjective necessarily. I think that's probably good right now. Let's do also like a sort of another mammalian kind of race. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. And I'll continue. Ooh, some sort of plant fungus race? Yes, sorry. Fungi. Fungi peeps. Okay, now I will leave it there. Oh wait, no. Wait. We also need some sort of AI bionic race. Because it's sci-fi. And I want there to be artificial life forms. Nice. Too many of my ideas would probably put people off the game, like space sharks or aliens that look like bogies. So I think we can absolutely like play off of that. Now, granted, this is a mini-series, so I'm not going to put as much depth into the world building at this stage as I have for, say, Iastera. I at least want us to get to a point where the world feels alive and fleshed out, and it feels like there is enough, more than enough, for the players to really interact with. So I think that space sharks make sense. I mean, we've got aquatic on there. I think it would be entertaining as well for like the humanity perspective for the early interactions to say, what? You don't look like an alien. I liked the idea of this mammalian race being like bats, because I want them to use echolocation. That would be cool. Bats are cool. Echolocation. not locution. Words. What are words? Okay, so we have alien races. I would say, actually, you know what? Friendly shark bosses, absolutely. Whale-like fisher folk in nice knit sweaters, fantastic. I want artwork of that, like in a nice Argyle kind of print. We're going to leave the races there for now, because I want to be able to leave some for surprises once it begins. Just got done writing amazing Bat Couriers and Nomads for a Not Humble Wood Kickstarter coming out. That sounds very cool. I like the idea of a Bat Courier. Okay. Yes. All the artwork. So, we've got races. Now, let's talk organizations. We have the yet-to-be-named Federation, which is a central governing authority made up of a limited council of representatives It's going to be quite bureaucratic. Well, I don't know. Federation, the astral fingers. You know, I kind of like the sound of that. Why am I not able to spell tonight? Okay, central governing authority made up of a limited council of representatives. So we have that in charge of setting regulations and approving new colonies. Setting regulations, negotiating agreements between the, we'll say, between the races, between the galactic entities, and approving new colonies. I don't think it'll be precisely like the council races in Mass Effect, but it'll be similar. Okay, there's also going to be a scientific organization. Focused on technological advancement, research, and sharing of knowledge and scientific findings. There will be a military organization charged with the defense of the habited sectors and maintaining security / the peace. Hello, Knight. What's up? Hi. Does the question from Kennard. Does the scientific organization take itself seriously / is it taken seriously by the citizenry? Very good and topical question. Yes. In this case, yes it is. Because we're in space. And space travel and settling would not be possible without adequate and continuously advancing technology and scientific knowledge. So yes. Lurking for a bit before I head off to a meeting. Hello, hello, Hope for TTRPGs. Have a nice meeting. Love to the lurkers. Okay, so we have a governing body. We have a scientific organization. We have a military organization, which I think might just be called the fleet. What else? What else do we need? We need businesses, right? We need the financial institutions. So let's think of different industries. Short, sweet, and to the point. Done already. Done already? What? What's done already? A meeting? Nice. So what kind of economic sectors will there be? So we're going to have mining. Oh, you're meeting? Yay. I love when meetings are short and to the point. Hopefully it wasn't one of those meetings where it's just like, this could have been an email. Mining, trade, construction. Construction would absolutely be important. Medical. Absolutely need medical. Travel, habitation, air, water, food, pilots, information. Yep, you need transportation and logistics. Gonna include that together. Air, water, food, let's say agriculture. Information, yeah. I think it'll be interesting because I think when it comes to information like intelligence, I think that would be embedded within the existing organizations. Because I don't think that we are necessarily a harmonious intergalactic federation. I think that the different entities, the different bodies, the different nations, we'll say, the different races, are going to be very careful with how much they like to share. This is not a happy, feel-good setting. This is not going to be necessarily a happy, feel-good story. It's going to be very different from Iastera. I think there's going to be a lot of cutthroat policies here. Yeah. Waste management. Yes. Yes. That's a big one. Nope, this was a how much are you paying me? Oh, this is how much you're paying me for this meeting and all parties are satisfied. Well, that's good. That's very good. And then we'll say development in general for colonies and new settlements, new outposts. But then we need like businesses. So, okay. I think this is a pretty good start. What do you think? Industries. From this, we can return to Outpost 5. So we have this general sense of the larger organizations, of a rough timeline. I'll create some more notes into a history. So our first session, which is scheduled for next Thursday, woo! Our first session is going to cover an introduction to this world, to the organizations at play, to the current state of affairs. Current state of affairs. Let's capture this a little bit here because I think that will be important. The Federation of whatever, the Federation is still in its early stages, based within, we'll just say primary galaxy for now, and governed by a collective body of representatives across different races. Intergalactic alliances and cooperation is steadily increasing, but let's say the foundation for this is not quite as solid as we would like it to be. The foundation of partnership and mutual trust is lacking. While it is accepted to be in the best interest of all races to work together on the cooperative development and governance of this and other galaxies. There is still, what are we trying to say here? While it's accepted to be in the best interest of all races to work together on the cooperative development and governance of this and other galaxies, it's still very much the Wild West. Wild West rules still apply. The spoils of space go to the most ambitious, cunning, and sometimes ruthless competitors. People be people, right? People be people. There's absolutely still friction between different groups. Friction and competition for resources is high between different entities. And intergalactic organizations / businesses are all too eager to take advantage of this new frontier. How's that sounding? Because something we didn't talk about before, we talked about sci-fi themes and what is inherent in the sci-fi genre, but we didn't talk about Western. And this is where we get into the Western element. Western genre themes. Unexplored frontiers embarking into the wilderness, staking a claim to what you think should be yours. Forging a future or a living for yourself. Competition, but also need for community. Travel, tumbleweeds, and nomads. My brain keeps harking back to the Firefly days. The brief was, what would you be in the back end of nowhere? I'm writing that down. What would you be in the back end of nowhere? Conflict between order and chaos. These are some of the things that are coming out in my mind. What do you think, folks? So, for this sci-fi western, the setting itself is sci-fi, but the style of story, the challenges that the players are going to encounter, very, very much Western. Yep, Grey 4, thinking of there being raids on transports holding valuables. Blessed be the bold. So these are the themes that you're going to see in this miniseries. There are going to be sketchy backdoor dealings. There are going to be, on the surface, laws and this idea of unity, of generosity, and of coming together for the greater good. But under the surface, very, very cutthroat, very, very opportunistic, because it is a new frontier and there's a lot of unexplored territory, both figurative and literal. And when you have an opportunity to carve out a place for yourself in a new frontier, you're going to want to do so before things are too regulated, right? I would say there's an underbelly, there's black market, but it's not so covert as to be able to be called an underbelly here. I think that there are going to be shady dealings that are done in broad daylight, but under very particular auspices. Resource limiting, absolutely resource limiting. Flip the script a little on a wilderness bigger than expected, play on the whole in over your head pressure of westerns. Absolutely. In over your head. Definitely. Because I agree with you. Because saying the wilderness is bigger than you expected, it's space. The vastness of space is the whole point. It's the whole point. So what I'm hearing is Mark Shepard is guest starring at least once. Nice. Yeah, Bebop, for resource limiting, the crew of the Bebop is constantly broke. Ramen dinners, fireflies, strawberries scene, oh yeah. So there are going to be certain, especially amongst humanity, the idea of strawberries being valuable and almost sacred and you know, cherished. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's a question. Does Earth exist? Or has Earth become so much of a wasteland, a polluted wasteland, that it no longer is really habitable? We're throwing religion into this? Expecting to see the local churches taking donations to keep their flock safe? Absolutely. Oh yes. Oh yes. So religion, and I am not anti-religion, by the way. I'm not very religious. I am more spiritual, but I am very passionate about making a study of religion. And I always have been. Religion and the idea of faith kicks in very, very strongly during times of hardship, and when you are forced to confront the unknown. When you don't have the answers for what lay ahead of you, you have to have quite literally blind faith. You have to have belief in something in order to, in terms of mental health, continue to move forward. So religion would definitely play a role. Role of religion in face of the wild unknown. Yes. Hard to do a Western without a preacher. Oh yeah, there's going to be a preacher. Lost Earth covers a lot of ground. Earth got nuked. Yeah. So we're going to put that up under the humanity section. Earth is no longer habitable. Wasteland. Raised by pollution and war. Because humans be crazy. Yeah, Earth is no longer habitable. There may still be some people there, but for the most part, people took off. And the twisted thing, the first humans to leave and make contact were considered to be society's elite. Jeff Bezos. But those early representatives very soon realized that they were in over their heads, and you needed people to build in space. Oh my God, can you imagine if Earth Amazon treats its employees so horribly here, what would it be like if they led the charge into space logistics? Oh God. Oh God. That's horrible. That's actually a horrifying thought. Ooh. But you know what? We're going to explore some of that. We will. You know the mutants from Futurama, those humans that stayed. Oh yeah. Any humans left behind, they're going to have different weird adaptations, we'll say. Take everything from Don't Look Up. I don't know that one. I don't know that one yet. But I heard it was funny. Is that one where like people are trying, wasn't it kind of on the nose? I heard something about it where people are trying to say like look up at the sky, but it's spun as like fake news or something. The whole first season is just a leverage style takedown of Space Bezos. Look, I'm not saying shooting Jeff Bezos gets me in this setting ASAP, but I'm saying that if I got to shoot Jeff Bezos, I'd definitely be playing it a whole lot more. Ha 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 ha. You want to look at the outer worlds for what would happen if companies rule people's lives. Yeah. I think we have a lot of very interesting themes here, don't you? I'm loving these ideas. I'm loving the conversations rolling through this chat tonight. And see, that is what I love about sci-fi. What if? Sci-fi setting, Western storytelling. Sound good? So what do you guys think? How do you like it, y'all? I'm gonna break out all of my horribly ambiguous Southern accents. gonna be great. It's gonna be so good. So good! I'm going to hold off on NPC creation tonight because it is getting a little bit later. So let's do a review. Some initial world building. We've got our themes, inspiration. We have some characters. We have setting. We need names for galaxies, of organizations, of different races. We have the birth of this current galaxy. So there are two. There's in terms of where the story would be told, where it would be taking place, really. You have the Federation, which is in a different galaxy. And they are removed, right? This galaxy that we're currently in is where the outposts are. That is where Outpost 5 and the other 6 outposts are located. So there were transport ships that took people from, we'll say Galaxy Prime, to here in order to explore, survey, and settle. All right? So I think that'll be an important thing for this miniseries to remember. The Federation is far away. So as wild and cutthroat as things can be there, it'll be even more so here. Thank you so much for the follow, Canard en Flamme, Flaming Duck. Thanks, Ducky. Cheers to you, new friend. Oh man, we've had quite a few new friends popping in today. I'm so happy y'all like this. I'll be honest, sci-fi isn't my usual cup of tea, but I'd be up for playing this. Yay! Or is it just very small? Is what very small? The galaxy? The lenticular galaxy? It is smaller. It's a new galaxy. Comparatively. So it's around a white dwarf sun. Oh, you said the Federation was far away. Or is it just very small? Far away. The long arm of the law doesn't quite reach Outpost 5. I think we need one more thing. We need to know in Outpost 5, because that's where the story is being told, what are the main players? I'm going to reorganize this a little bit. Federation equals 4 ships. It's just a single very long cable and a dangly dish. It's 2 cups and rope. On a grand scale. Over? I'm going to reorganize these because the Western themes here need to go up along with the sci-fi themes. I'll organize these a little bit better as we go along. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. What? Yes, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. New galaxy has formed from the death of a star. We've got races, we've got organizations, we have the current state of affairs, we have the current timeline and assumptions. Now let's talk about outposts. Initially established by teams of scientists, mechanics, explorers, rangers, although other settlers and British ventures moved in once deemed viable and profitable. Outpost 5 quickly became one of the most valued due to the resource-rich asteroid belt, which I like. I like the idea of Outpost 5 being in an asteroid belt. So it's not a planet, it's not a moon. So you're asteroid hopping at Outpost 5. But there are going to be larger structures that are both built upon larger chunks of asteroid and constructed like space station style. That text is very small, sorry. Most structures are either built into the asteroids themselves or constructed between them, space station style. Main industries here. Definitely going to be mining. What are the power players, right? Mining. Probably needs some construction. Transport / trade routes. Because I think this asteroid belt is going to kind of stretch between different key areas. I need to do a little bit more research into the way galaxies form, and I'll do like a rough sketch of what this galaxy would actually look like in terms of the other bodies within the galaxy as well. Because there's a sun, there's gonna be some planets, moons, not a ton, but then there is this big ol' asteroid belt. But then there's also going to be a debris field that won't necessarily be, it's going to be much more dangerous than an asteroid belt. For a schlock space LARP, I proposed a whirly circle with stars behind the viewing monitor. I like whirly circles with stars. Okay. There is going to be a religious presence here. And there's going to be a scientific detachment. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah. Yes, Riley. Asteroid belts are notoriously difficult to navigate. Is there going to be an artificial gravity bubble around the outpost settled asteroids? Yes. So there's going to be an augmented gravity field, which is why there's a scientific detachment there. Augmented gravity field stabilizes key sections of the outpost. Yes, absolutely. I'm toying with the idea of this asteroid belt actually forming a bit of a halo within this new galaxy. But the outpost itself only inhabits a certain part of it. Yes. That's how it's going to be. Because the outpost itself isn't going to stretch the entire orbit. That's silly. Mining, construction, transport. So transport and trade routes will be very important because this asteroid belt is going to, and Outpost 5 in particular, is going to be the easiest way of transiting through the belt itself. So between the inner and the outer worlds. Yes, Riley, been playing lots of Halo. Ring worlds, artificial or natural, are always welcome. Yes, this is a ring-oriented kind of galaxy. Yes. So transport and trade is going to be very, very significant between the inner and outer outposts. And that's another reason why Outpost 5 quickly became very, very profitable. I would say that there's going to be some sort of military presence as well. In a more minimal level. Because I think it will be useful in this galaxy for military, for a military presence to be located within the belt, so that if need be, it can go anywhere, you know? Minimal. So I'm gonna say the most influential entities here mining, transport, and the scientific detachment. What if the Federation had control over the asteroids in the belt from hatchling? So yes. That's the intent of having the scientific and the military presence there. I would say that there isn't yet a Federation detachment, a Federation arm physically present within this galaxy yet. But it's very quickly getting to the point where the Federation is going to want to settle more. We're not quite at full up colony level yet. But it's like right on the cusp, I would say. Well, actually, you know what? I think the only reason Outpost 5 hasn't become a full-up colony yet is because it's in the asteroid belt. So you don't really have the means of having like agriculture and really homesteading there. It's very much a transitional, almost liminal kind of outpost. Chris Hopper, Western again, like the Rangers. They're out there, but you know, you gotta get them to you. Yeah, right? Exactly. The law is farther away. Riley, it's a trade and transit base. Makes sense it would be a quickly established outpost. Yes. Would it be Federation presence or a local militia? It would be local militia with oversight from Federation military. Yes. Because think about it this way. It's being established very, very rapidly. It's not like it's a city. It's not urbanized or anything yet. But, I mean, the big bosses aren't going to be the first ones out into the frontier. They're going to let their underlings go and set things up first. No Federation reps, no politicians are going to be going out there until there is at least, like, you know, a snazzy conference room set up in a hotel. It's a little too far away. It's a little too dangerous. Another good question. So, Picks It Flies theme song, a little bit of argon in my life, a little bit of titanium by my side. A little bit of iron is all I need. A little uranium is what I see. I love it. Yes. There'll be entertainment there. Gray 4, will the outposts have been there longer than it was planned to be? Are parts working well past their expected estimates? There are parts of it that are definitely breaking down, but because of its importance, a lot of the resources are being funneled towards Outpost 5. I would say in terms of development and maintenance, Outpost 5 is farther along compared to some of the other outposts. For sure. And it's going to be one of those things that the outer outposts will have been established first. Because you can't start in the center of the galaxy and radiate out. You're traveling from elsewhere. So you're going to have those outer outposts be the first ones to be established, and then use those as launching points to go in. So because of the eagerness for continuing to establish the other outposts, you basically played like leapfrog, working your way more and more inward. Because there are a lot of valuable resources past the asteroid belt. Are there any land-based outposts yet? Absolutely. So the outposts are numbered in terms of when they were established. So there have been 4 outposts in the outer rings, planets, moons, before getting to 5, which is the belt. And then there are 2 more beyond the belt in the inner orbit, the more inner orbits around the star, around the sun. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna have to draw this out. I'm gonna do a little sketch between now and our launch on Thursday next week. Not this Thursday, next week. I need more than 2 days to get this ready. But I think we're gonna call it there for world building. I love these questions. Thank you all so much for this. I think we have some good ideas here. We know how many outposts there are. We know the significance of Outpost 5 in particular. We're going to continue to expand, and I'm going to be creating some notes for the other outposts. But again, this is a mini-series for now. I don't know. Hatchling. Argon Skies. Don't know if Jen's out there. Do you think there's some mileage in this idea, in this setting? This might be one that we return to later on. This might be like an alternating thing that we can do now and then between Iastera and Outpost 5, because I'm falling in love with this. I really, really am. I'm so excited. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the specific campaign prep. As I think most of you know now, this is a Bard RPG adventure. We are fully switched over to the new setting. We're not doing 5th edition or 5e Fusion anymore. So when it comes to a short story style of adventure planning, this is going to be a nice exploration of the 4-part storytelling style, the Kisho Tenketsu. So when it comes to Bard RPG, there are different play styles. You can have the long-running campaign, or you can have a short story map style of play, which could be anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 sessions. However you would want to construct it, but it can be run as a one-shot. In this case, because we're doing a mini-series, I'm expanding that into still maintaining the 4-part structure, because I want to keep this at 4 sessions for now, for this heist part anyway, instead of going straight into a long-running campaign. So when it comes to Kisho Tenketsu, this is something that I have been experimenting with quite a bit for the other Heroes of Iastera sessions and for the kids storytelling workshops. Instead of a typical 3-part storytelling style, if you guys haven't heard me nerd out about this before, 4-part involves the introduction, the establishment of the setting, the scene, introducing the main, the main central challenge, the conflict, the problem, whatever it may be. Part 2 focuses on building to that, so you have your typical rising action. Part 3, instead of it going straight to the climax, introduces a twist. There is something that is unexpected. And the final outcome within Part 4, which is climax and resolution kind of combined, that final outcome will be dependent on how that twist is handled. So when it comes to planning for a mini-series, for a shorter 4-part campaign, we'll say, it's not going to be railroaded, but there are going to be specific story threads, specific points that are going to be reached and reflected during each chapter. I don't want to leave it too open-ended, because, like I said, initially this is at least a mini-series, although I think you guys can tell that I'm kind of excited at the idea of continuing to develop and explore this. But this story that we are preparing for will conclude by the 4th session. That is a promise. That is something I'm holding myself to. So all I'm going to tell you, because I've got some ideas, is that it's going to take place at Outpost 5. We're going to have 3 brand new characters with their brand new shiny Bard RPG archetypes. And there's going to be a heist. And there's going to be trouble. That's all I can say. That's all I'm willing to say right now. But I hope you guys like that. Yeah, I hope that you are excited, as excited as we are about this transition to Bard RPG. I hope you're excited to explore Outpost 5 with us. I hope you like the name, too. That one just sort of came to me while I was taking some notes and prepping for the stream earlier today. Yeah, I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me this fine evening. I have loved the questions. I've loved the conversation and the inspiration coming through the chat tonight. This is one of my absolute favorite things about Chill Creation. And now that I am recovering and have more of that mental energy, because I'm not working on a big ol' heckin' stressful paper anymore, I am so excited to be diving headfirst back into more creative endeavors. So yes, thank you very much. Oh, Riley got a very Satellite 5 feel to the name. What's that? Did I accidentally emulate something else that I didn't know existed? Aw, heck. Oh, Doctor Who. Oh. Okay. Yes. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, yep, good night everyone. Western Space Heist. Get hyped. Can't wait to show folks your character, Hatchling. I can't wait for you to show folks your character either. And don't forget, the music that we've been listening to tonight has been from, I think it actually went into like a radio inspired by, but the music we've been listening tonight has been from Lazy Laser. Please go check them out on their Bandcamp page. Posting it there. I just bought their digital album at the start of the stream, right before we went live. This music has been very enjoyable to write along to, and you'll be able to hear more of it during our stream next week on Thursday. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna go get some rest, and I'm gonna stop rambling now. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Keep adventuring. Keep scribbling. Have a nice night. Bye.